So what we're going to do today is we're going to put our lift together, our engine puller. First thing we want to do is take it out of the box and kind of lay it out for you, kind of show you what tools we need. And we're going to start assembling. G-Man, my brother, is going to go ahead and start putting the wheels on, and this is basically for the base of the lift. This is the part that supports the majority of the weight when we are pulling an engine. What you really need is just a socket and a box end, and you know, it's pretty easy. One guy holds back up. In fact, you don't even need two guys. You can put it together with one guy can put it together. I just jump in and hold back up for G a little bit so he doesn't complain. What we're going to do next here is, these are actually the extensions, and the extensions will both get a wheel on them. And when we use the extensions is when we're actually pulling a motor. We drop the two extensions down. That will give us the support forward for the weight of the motor. What G-Man's going to do is he's going to put a bolt, you know, off of the main base. Putting some wheels on it right now. And here he goes right here. I'll put the bolt through, and that pivots up and down. When we're not using the lift, you can just pivot that up and out of your way, so that it's easier for storage. Right now you see G-Man's grabbing the main base, the main beam. This is really the backbone of the support. So I'll put a few bolts in it. Our final product's going to have a couple more holes right to the left and right, guys, just in the event that you want to adjust it to side to side. And the reason we're going to allow that is because when you walk into some of the lifts that you'll be pulling a motor out of, you want to be able to walk underneath that lift. And if it's tight, you want to be able to move to one side or the other, so you'll be able to make that adjustment. This is one of the brackets that's used to support the motor when we pull it. G-Man and I are bolting that up. It's actually another easy bolt up. Everything is American. Everything's just basically nuts and bolts. And you will have a package with you when it arrives to actually show what we're showing you here. There again, we're just putting nuts and bolts together, tightening them up. This is the support piece. As you can see, George and I work pretty well together. We've been doing it for 50 plus years. George is the mechanic. This is actually George's invention here. Tom's just kind of along for the ride. And we have different roles within the business. That is the jack. And that's where we obviously get our power from. We just put a pin through it. And the piece that George is installing now is the base for the jack. That's where they'll sit on, and that's where we pivot from when we actually are ready to pull an engine. Remember, this is designed to pull engines on Harley Davidson V-twins up to and including the 110s. G-Man is now going to put a couple bolts through that, some nuts. Most of what we used are bolts with nylon locking nuts. This keeps it kind of simple. Right here is there's just two bolts that go caddy corner from one another, and that's what supports that's the base that supports the jack itself. So what George is going to do now is he's going to put on the lift head assembly. We're going to bolt that up. And of course what he'll do then is he'll put the lift head arms on either side. One on the right side, one on the left side. Put a couple bolts and nuts on that. And that's, we're moving towards the end here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the engine grabbers themselves on. You can see I picked one up right here. Just going to bolt that on, and that's what actually grabs the cylinder. That's what holds the cylinder. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the lift head safety arm on, and that's what'll be what holds. That's what holds the engine grabbers tight to the cylinder as we prepare to pull the motor out. George is now, we have it assembled. George is just jacking it up to show you its range. And of course, you see the extra holes. We're able to change the lift where we can get it up higher and or lower. What we're going to do here now is George is going to walk in our puller. He's going to walk our puller in, and we're going to get ourselves in contact with this motor. Down a touch. Okay, walk it in. What I'm doing here is I'm adjusting it. We have pieces that go over here, our arms, and they grab the cylinders. And that's essentially what we're lifting on, is the cylinders. What I'm doing is I'm just cranking down the safety arm here to
You're good there.
make our... Now what's going to happen is George is just ever so slightly going to jack it up.
Very, very tight. See,
Pull it out of there.
as me jacker up, pull it right on out. And of course, we're good to go. We're gonna pull it right out.
There you have it, 36 EL, number 1177. Very early.